Welcome into another edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. And we will head to Santa Anita for the Saturday card, full of grade ones, plus a Kentucky Derby prep. We're going to take a look at the late pick four as well. Jim, let's jump in the fifth race. It's the Derby prep, the grade two San Felipe. And the 3-year-olds will go a mile and a 16th. And I couldn't really get past the favorites in here. I ended up going with Gormley. Just like it looks like he's training great. He's already won a grade one, and you don't see the sheriff horses and training quite the way this one is in terms of the time. So suggests to me that Gormley's ready to roll in the prep for the Santa Anita Derby, and I would use him with Mastery and Iliad. So it's pretty chalky here for me. How about you?
It looks chalky, and I would probably give an edge to Gormley as well because he has raced once as a 3-year-old, and he won the Sham on a sloppy track, though. So that might be questionable whether he's going to return on what should be a fast track at Santa Anita. Mastery is typical Baffert. I mean, he hadn't raced since December 10th, but he's always got these 3-year-olds that develop late, and he is a grade one winner. He won the Los Al Futurity by 7 1/4. So Mike Smith's on him. Looks like he could be the controlling speed here. There's a little bit of other speed in there, but if he's ready, I mean, I think it's 2-horse race, Mastery and Gormley. I'm hoping Gormley is really good because he's been working with a horse named Royal Mo that I've got in the future book at Vegas. I bought in January at 85 to 1. So if Gormley's good and Royal Mo's been working with him, maybe Sheriff's has a 1-2 punch there. So Mastery and Gormley are my choices here. It's going to be a nice little race to watch, though. I really like the name, though, Bluegrass Envy. If you're from Kentucky, you've got to like that horse because everybody's envious of where we live, but the horse doesn't belong in this race. He's still a maiden, so I'm not going to bet him. I just like the name.
Well, let's go to the 8th race, which starts the late pick four, and we'll do a pick four ticket at the end here, but it's the grade one Triple Bend at 7 furlongs, and who did you land on here?
I landed on Masochistic. He's had the winter off to get over the big effort in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. He only got beat by Dreyfong by a length and a quarter, and before that he won back-to-back races at Santa Anita and Del Mar with a 110 buyer and the Pat O'Brien. It seems to me that this race was just written for him because he's got the controlling speed, drawn on the outside. Kobe's back hasn't been out since June the 25th, which this race was last summer at Santa Anita, the Triple Bend. So he's actually returning in a race that he finished third in last year to Lord Nelson. So I think Kobe's back is the main competition, but I think it just sets up perfectly for Masochistic. Silent Bird, the 4, you can make a case for him simply because he's won 5 in a row. It's been at a lot lower level than this, so he's making a big jump from optional claimer up to grade 1. But you can't complain about his form, and you can't complain about the guy on his back. Pratt's really, really good at Santa Anita. So if you're looking for a price, Silent Bird maybe, but I think Masochistic is going to be a deserving favorite in here.
Yeah, that's who I landed on as well. I like the 3 for 3 at 7 furlongs. The workout pattern is impressive. And this horse has won 8 times, and 4 of those have been on the main track at Santa Anita. So all of those reasons, it's Masochistic for me. If I did beat him, I'd probably track Hobie's back, the 3. Silent Bird looks like a really improving horse. I just don't know if he's quite salty enough to handle the likes of Masochistic and Kobe's back just yet. 9th race is the Kilroll Mile, and they're on the turf. And I'm going for a little bit of a price here. I think you'll get a little price on Bala Bali to 1. I just keep looking at how well this horse has run fresh. Seems to fire every time. Mandela's 20% off this kind of layoff, and it's a mile, and this horse has 6 wins at the 1 mile distance. I think you'll get a little price, good post position. I didn't see a standout in here, so I'm going to key Bala Bali in the race with 4 horses, Bolo, Conquest Enforcer, Ring Weekend, and What of You. And I think I'll use all 5 of them in the pick 4 because I don't have a real strong opinion, but I'm doing a little price shopping here, looking for a value play on Bala Bali. How about you?
I can make a case for him as well, but I thought this race was the most balanced of all the races that we're looking at today, and I didn't really have a strong favorite. I wound up on Bolo. Had a little bit of a tough trip last time out, and he still got up over What of You and Conquest Enforcer, which are 2 of the other horses that you mentioned in here. So I can't really toss anybody in here. Ring Weekend got off slow in that race, and he only got beat by 1 length. So you've got 4 horses coming out of the Arcadia, the prep race for this, within 1 length of each other. So I don't know how you can not use any of them. So I wound up going all here in the pick 4 that we'll talk about in a minute. The intriguing horse is Dortmund. First time on turf in Art Sherman's barn now. They moved him from Baffert. And interesting experiment. I mean, Dortmund obviously is a superstar, 8 for 14 with almost $2 million lifetime earnings. First time on the turf in his 15th start. So he may like it a lot. So you never know. I would use them all here. I think Bolo is my top pick over What Have You, Conquest, Enforcer, and Ring Weekend. All the horses coming on the same race.
10th race, the Big Cap, Grade 1 Santa Anita Handicap at 1.25 miles. And this is a race that Shaman Ghost probably goes favorite. I think off that big figure in the performance, which was the runner-up to Arrogate. Is that where you're landing?
I didn't land there. I like Shaman Ghost. Obviously, that 112 buyer, 4 lengths behind the best horse in the world is something to obviously bank on here. But he's never been at Santa Anita. Midnight Storm, on the other hand, has 6 buyer figures in a row in double digits, topped by a 110 in the Shoemaker Mile last year at Santa Anita. So he's 2 for 5 at Santa Anita. Very versatile. Should like the 1.25 miles, even though he's only been at one time. I think Midnight Storm has a home court advantage here over Shaman Ghost. You might get a better price. I also like a little bit Imperative, the 9 on the outside, and I think he ran way behind Midnight Storm last time out at Del Mar, and his record at Santa Anita is dismal. But the race at Gulfstream Park last out in the Poseidon was very impressive. He shipped from West Coast and won down there at 7-1 over a decent field, including Stanford and Made from Lucky. So I think Imperative is on the improve here. The 1 for 14 at Santa Anita bothers me a lot, but I would take him in my trifectas under Midnight Storm, the 1, and Shaman Ghost, the 3, with a very slight edge to Midnight Storm because of the home court advantage.
Yeah, I'm taking Midnight Storm. I like the 2 wins on the main track. This horse looks like the controlling speed in here to me, and just really training great. And I think you will get maybe a decent price off the 112 buyer figure for Shaman Ghost. So I'm going to try to beat that one. Isotherm was the one I thought was a little intriguing. Big improvement last time. Now he's got going to the dirt, but the 2 dirt races, one of them was his first time out, and he didn't run horribly. And then the other one was at Keeneland in a big field for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So I think you can certainly excuse that. And I think it's pedigree. This one could handle the switch. So I think that one intrigues me a little bit at a price. But my pick is the 1, Midnight Storm. The 8th race is where the pick 4 begins. I'm going to use 2 in the first leg, Masochistic and Colby's back. All 5 that I mentioned in the Kilrow Mile. In the Big Cap, I'm going to use Midnight Storm, Shaman Ghost, and I'm going to include Isotherm as well to try to get a price. And then the last race is a Calbred Stakes race at 1 mile on the turf, and didn't have a strong opinion. I'm going to use the 2, 4, 5, and 9 and spread a little bit in there. So I think it's for 50 cents, a $60 ticket. I couldn't come up with a horse I felt strong enough about to single. How about you?
Well, I came up with a single in the first leg. I really like Masochistic in the first leg, so I'm going to take a stand there, and I'm either in or out. And so that's the 5 horse in the first leg. As I mentioned, in the second leg with the turf Frank Kilrow Mile, I'm going to use them all because I could. I was going to use 4 of them at a minimum, so there's only 7 in there, so I'm going to take them all. 139 in the Santa Anita Handicap with Midnight Storm, Shaman Ghost, and the 9 horse Imperative. And then last race, it was hard to narrow it down, and I kind of made a budget of around $50 to $60, and I kept to $52.50 with 5 horses. Going to use Miss Sugars, the 1, Go On Mary, the 2, Surcat Sally, the 5, the undefeated filly for Hollendorfer, the 10 horse Beau Recall, second time North American, and Miss Sunset, the 11, who beat Miss Sugars last time out in the Sweet Life Stakes at Santa Anita on down the hill. So 5 horses there. It's a wide open race. It's 1, 2, 5, 10, 11. So my pick 4 goes 5 with all, with 1, 3, 9, with 1, 2, 5, 10, 11.
Best of luck on your Saturday wagers. A nice day, a nice card at Tampa Bay as well, with the Grade 2 Tampa Bay Derby on that card. So great wagering opportunities to mix in with all the basketball this weekend via KeenelandSelect.com or in the Lexington market at the Red Mile for on-site simulcasting. Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and that's the Get the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.